Today we're covering how to brush your dog's hair at home. We're not going to waste any time. So we're going to cover first the top 3 mistakes that a lot of people are making when it comes to brushing their dog's hair at home, or if they're skipping that. We want to understand why we don't skip that. The second thing we'll cover is the specific equipment that I would recommend for doing this. And then we'll get into a demonstration for hair brushing with a long-haired dog. Then we'll do a quick demonstration on a short-haired dog before we wrap it up for some quick FAQs. So let's get right into it. The number one mistake that most people are making when it comes to brushing your dog's hair is that they're not brushing their dog's hair often enough. The reason why this is important is because if you don't brush your dog's hair, then your dog's hair can become matted. We definitely don't want this to happen. Matting is when your dog's hair begins to become tangled up upon itself. And what happens is this usually starts on the undercoat, starts matting, like sticking together, getting all tangled, and then it can actually extend to the outer coat and right up to the skin. And what happens with matting is that it can actually cut off your dog's blood circulation at the skin level. This can be very, very painful for your dog. So everyone that has, especially a long-haired dog, needs to make sure that they are brushing their dog's hair effectively, often enough to prevent matting. That's the number one reason why you need to brush your dog's hair. The second mistake that most people are making when it comes to brushing their dog's hair is that they're actually using the wrong brush to brush their dog's hair. Yes, there's actually different types of brushes for brushing out your dog's hair. I'm gonna go through in just a second all the equipment that I would recommend you get, and I'll put links to it all below on Amazon for you as well. That way you have your bases covered when it comes to actually having the equipment needed to brush your dog's hair. And the third mistake that most people are making when it comes to brushing your dog's hair is that they're skipping the most sensitive areas. The areas that are moving the most and compacting the most are gonna have more matting than other areas of the body. So think about underneath your dog's armpits, in their groin area, around their tail, behind their ears, under their chin, alongside their face. All of these are example areas of where the dog's moving a lot, the hair is rubbing together, maybe getting wet. This is gonna help compact and mat that hair very quickly, and these are the most important areas to brush that most people are skipping. If you were to get one thing for your dog's hair to brush it out nicely, that would be a metal comb. What the metal comb benefit is that it will actually help you get all the way down to your dog's skin level through their hair and just, firmly and gently, brush out that hair. If there's any matting, this comb can help you get out a little bit of matting, but if the matting's too thick, that's when you'll need the next tool. I like the metal combs that have a bigger spacing between the, whatever you call these, bristles, right, on one end. Then on the other end, they have a narrower spacing. So that's my preference, because what I'll do is I'll brush with the more wide areas first, and then I'll reverse it over to the more narrow areas to help fine tune any areas that are needed with the metal comb. The second tool that I would recommend for anyone at home if you're gonna get something else would be a dematting rake. This is super nice to have, especially if you're dealing with a little bit of matting going on, because these bristles right here, they're nice and stiff. You can easily penetrate through the fur, get as close to the skin as possible, and help just brush out any fur that's potentially tangling. The third piece of equipment that I would recommend if you were to get another piece would be actually a dematter tool. Now this tool comes in super handy if you have actual mats. So if your dog is covered in mats, you're not gonna be able to get all those mats out with this tool. This is mainly for small mats, maybe small problem areas that you can still get this dematter tool in there and help pick apart that mat. The fourth thing I recommend for a longer haired dog or a medium haired dog would be a slicker brush. This is very nice to just take across the dog's coat and help pull out any dead hair. And for our short haired dogs, the one thing you might want to get would be a rubber curry brush. You can take this over their coat. It'll help pull out some of the dead hair and just keeps their coat looking real nice and conditioned throughout the year. All right, so we got Scout here. He's a golden doodle. And I'm gonna show you how I would brush a long-haired dog. Again, starting off with the number one thing I would recommend anybody get at home, which would be a metal comb. Now, with dogs like Scout, obviously Scout is here for training right now, and so something else you gotta think about in addition to under his armpits and where he sits and lays down, his groin area and all that, is where his collars are. So when you're grooming, and when I do brushing, I just do it in a place that the dog's comfortable at. So he's on a place right now, but he doesn't have to lay down or anything. He can just, sit here, he can stand, I don't really care. But I am gonna take off his collars, or at least his remote collar, so that I can, brush out his collar area. So I'll just start right there, right? So I've got the metal comb right here. I'm just gonna start in his collar area. I'm just gonna do some light stroking right here. And I wanna make sure that my metal comb is getting all the way down to his skin level the best as possible. And I'll usually do some, very short brushes until I can feel the brush getting through there pretty easily. And you can tell where you've been brushing because the hair changes, right? As you brush it out, the hair changes. So I don't like doing too big of a section at a time because, you don't want to be pulling and tugging on all the hair. So you just do a little bit at a time. Maybe you start, if the hair length is about 2 inches long, for example, maybe you start at about a 1/2 inch of the hair length, or 1 inch. You start brushing that out, and then you go all the way to the base of the hair and you brush out the full hair. And of course, if you have a dog that you're just getting this used with, you can use food rewards, or if the dog's been doing this for a while, you can still use food rewards to help repeatedly create the positive association to the brushing, right? So I'm just doing his back right here. I'm not gonna do the full body, but I'm just gonna show you guys an example of what I'd be looking at. So I start with his neck, go to his back area. Let's say I've been brushing this out for a while and the metal comb is doing a great job at this. You can already see the change in the texture of the hair. Now, as I get right here, it's starting to get a little bit harder to get through his hair. So I'm just gonna do about 1/2 a length of the hair. And then as that's easier to do, I'm gonna go all the way down, good boy, to the base of the hair right here. Right here, again, it seems like his back, it's harder to get through if I go all the way down to his skin. So I just go about halfway down the length of hair, and then I'll go, once that's pretty easy to do, then I'll go down to the base of the skin and get the full length of hair brushed. Obviously, he's having a good time. Get a little reward here for doing a good job. Scalp. Good boy. I don't even know if this dog can see. His eyes are covered up by hair. All right, so I've done his back a little bit. That can get the dog, used to brushing if you haven't brushed him in a while. We already did a little bit of the neck. So actually, while he's up like this, I'm actually gonna check his armpits. So with my free hand, I come to his armpit right here, and I'm just checking to see if I feel any matting or hair getting all jumbled up down there. If I find something, I might go over it with the metal comb. If I don't find anything, then I'll just go over the metal comb in that general area, following the same principle. If I get all the way down to the skin and it's too hard to get through, then I'll do probably half of the length of hair, and then I'll go to the full length of hair. He's just having a good time. He's really liking his hair brushing. All right, let's say you're gonna start with a rake instead of the comb. All you would do, same process, right? All right, Scout's getting a little excited here. All right, same process, you're gonna take the rake and you're just gonna start, going through the hair, right? I do like a strong rake like this, and again, I've got the link in the description below. You could do this before the metal comb if you got this in addition to the metal comb, and it's just gonna help, essentially prepare that hair for the metal comb to go through it, right? So I just go through his body the same way. All right, we're following. Like this, good boy. And so I personally like starting with this because it'll help, prepare the hair. It kind of gets it situated before you run the metal comb through it to verify that there's actually no matting in the hair. So just raking out the chest here. There is some tangled up hair, and as you rake it, you'll just kind of pull it out. But again, go slow. Go maybe half of the length of hair at first, and then try to get all the way down to the skin level. And again, you can run all the way down the leg like so. Run all the way down the chest. Don't forget, underneath the armpits is where that hair is potentially going to get more matted quicker. And the groin area and around the collars too. So if you want to work around the collars, you would just kind of lift up the head just a little bit and then work this neck area right here with your rake. Good boy. Just take your time with it. All right, two things I wanted to point out real quick before we end the demonstration on the long-haired dog. The ears, I do like taking the metal comb on top of the ears and just raking all the way down or combing all the way down. And make sure after the ear ends and you have these feathers that you get the comb all the way through those feathers and completely comb it out. The other part of the face that a lot of people are, missing or not paying attention to is right alongside the muzzle. So what I like to do right here is I'll just rake right alongside the muzzle, right? So same process of starting at half the fur length and then going all the way out. Let's see how he's a little bit, not 100% comfortable with that. So what I would do after you do 1 or 2 strokes, good, reward, right? Create that positive association. Once he finishes eating, then you can come in for another stroke here and get all of that fur and hair right up by the muzzle completely combed out, and then the chin as well. So that's a one area that a lot of people miss. So you want to make sure you're combing that out while you're doing your brushing. So he already looks a lot better than when we first started. There is still a little bit more to do here, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the short-haired dog. All right, for your short-haired dog, you're just going to take your curry brush and you're just going to basically run it down their body, just like this. And what you'll notice is you've got dead hair, loose hair, all coming off the dog. And so you'll just go over their whole body doing exactly this, right? So you can probably see there's a decent amount of dead hair coming off. Short and sweet. Some of the common questions we normally get in regard to brushing out your dog's hair. First of all, how often should you brush? If you have a longer haired dog, I would brush them 2 to 3 times a week at least. You could brush them daily if you wanted to. For a shorter haired dog, maybe once a week, maybe once every couple weeks. It's just going to depend on your personal preference. Another question we commonly get is, should you brush before or after you give your dog a bath? Preferably brush them out before you give them a bath. That way the water from the bath doesn't make those mats any tighter than they already are. So brush everything out, give them a bath, dry them out real nice after that. Remember that brushing isn't just about the way your dog's hair looks. It's about keeping the skin as healthy as possible, preventing any matting from happening, and keeping your dog comfortable with their coat. And if you're looking to work with a professional dog trainer on your dog's behavior, make sure you pick out a professional dog trainer that's going to help you maintain your dog's coat or improve their coat, like we do at Canine Revolution Dog Training. Reach out at the link below if you want to speak with us about some training. And if you want to learn how to trim your dog's nails at home, just check out this video right here where I show you how to do it. I'll see you there.